Welcome to the Felt Dyslexic Artist Interview. My name is Liz Buckridge. For me, as a dyslexic artist, other artists and creatives have always been my number one inspiration. In these interviews, we talk with artists and creatives who share their stories, and we gain insight into their process from inspiration to art tips, career building, and more. We're so lucky to listen to the wisdom of Erin Kulis today. I'm so excited to hear about her past and future projects and her insights on life as an artist. Hi, Erin.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
Good.
Thank you for talking with us.
Yeah.
So I'm going to jump right in. Describe the art you make. What mediums do you primarily work in, and why do you choose that medium?
So I would call myself mostly a painter. Most of my work is painting, a combination of painting, drawing, collage. I even do like some found object stuff. For a while, I was doing like assemblage with like shadow boxes and things. But I think I enjoy watercolor painting the most. I think it's relaxing, it's portable. I do a lot of painting of my travels and stuff too. So
I didn't know that.
yeah.
Do you work in any other mediums?
Um, because I'm an art teacher, I teach kindergarten through fifth grade. I do like lots of because you need to be skilled in lots of different things. So sometimes I'll dabble with something a little outside my comfort zone. I've done ceramics before and some fiber arts, but I still always end up going back to like more of a painting stuff. So
I love that.
photography too. I've done a little bit of that. So
Oh, wow. How did you get into making art? Can you tell us about your background and how you first became interested in art?
So I can't really pinpoint a time where I started because I just always, as a kid, I was always drawing, I was reading, writing. Um, and as I went through school, I kind of took different things and figured out what I liked. Um, I really haven't gotten into digital art much, but I tried it a little bit, just what wasn't for me. I like getting my hands like dirty and things. Um, but yeah, I've kind of always done it. Didn't know if it was be a career or not. I just knew that I always wanted to make stuff just on my own anyway. So
I love that. How did you get into your specific styles? What themes or subjects inspire your work?
so finding a style takes a long time, and sometimes um, you don't really know what you're making when you start something. I feel like my work kind of has a lot of like layering to it. So I'm inspired by artists that kind of work in that style with like, uh, transparent layers over so you can kind of see things peeking through. A lot of I did a whole series about memories because years ago, I was working or living with a woman with Alzheimer's. And I made a whole series of work inspired by like the fact that her memories were kind of fading away. So you get like these little snippets. So that style kind of kept up with most of my work is that like painting over layers and mixed media, stuff like that.
I love that. Do you consider yourself neurodivergent or neurotypical?
I mean, I kind of feel like everybody is a little bit neurodivergent. There's definitely things like when I'm at school, especially teaching, where I'm like, you know what? I think I might have a little ADHD or something like that because I do get with a lot of like noises happening at once with students and things. It's kind of hard to, um, just tune stuff out, I guess. So I probably have a little bit of something with that, but
I get it. Have you faced any challenges or setbacks in your art career, and how did you overcome them?
I guess just starting out like was tricky. I mean, I worked in different jobs where um, just to, get by something that wasn't really art related. Um, and I would still work on stuff then, but then once you get a job that does have to do with art, it's kind of like you're doing it for that. Like I find myself down here trying to start something for myself, and then I'm like, ooh, I should really make that sample for the fifth grade project or something, and I end up getting kind of putting my stuff on the back burner. So I'm trying to be better about that, and my goal is to kind of get more stuff in shows and start making more for myself. And um, I do like visual journaling a lot. So I have like these journals that I've been keeping for a long time. So even just that kind of keeps me creative. It
I
gives me some
love that.
ideas.
Yeah. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Central Mass, Rutland, kind of like near Mount Wachusett area, and went to high school, Mount Wachusett High, or Wachusett High School, not Mount Wachusett High School. And so the woods, I grew up in the woods. We had really very little neighbors. And we had friends that we'd go hang out with, but we were always outside in the woods, like disappear for hours and take our bikes and go. So it was a really nice place to grow up. But now I love living in Rhode Island. I love living near the ocean. And so it's nice. And my parents are still at the house I grew up in, so I can still go see them and see the house.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you do art when you were a little kid? Do you remember?
Yes, definitely. I mean, my mom has drawers and stuff of all my stuff. I recently did go back and got some stuff from just to not overwhelm them with all my crap and things, but uh, I brought back like just big portfolios full of stuff that I made from like high school all the way up. And but they have like the stuff I made when I was little, like the cute things.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Do you have a favorite colorway for your art or a palette? And is the colorway for your art the same as the colors in your house?
I After reading that question, I started looking around my house and I'm like, yeah, I do kind of stick to the like the earth tones, the muted um things like that. I occasionally will do something with bright colors just to, but I tend to not like that as much. Um, I'll like put a bright color down and then like, ooh, and then I like mute it out by like going over with some like white or cream, um, and just something to kind of tone it down because I think the bright colors is just it's not really my style.
I get that. Um, Describe the space where you make your art. Where are we?
This is the basement. It is also kind of like the cat's room, kind of the bar room, but I have this little corner over here. Um, Ideally, I would have loved a studio that had natural light, and because sometimes it does get a little like the lighting here is not the best for painting, but it's a nice space, and I'm fortunate to have a husband that he actually built a few of the little furniture pieces to help me store my stuff. But yeah, it's usually messy. Right now, it is still.
I love
But
this space.
I have yeah, like shelves that I just some things are for display and some are just tools and whatever, and lots of books. That's only part of them. But
Yeah, this is a cool space. How did your school system support your interest in art growing up?
so I was very lucky. I At my high school especially, I always had a really good art um, classes and going up, and I had my art teacher was the one that really like convinced me to go into it, like for college and stuff. And his daughter, I think she was at Framingham State because they had a good art program there, and so that's what I did. I went for my bachelor's at Framingham State for fine art. Um, but then later, when I didn't really know what I was doing, I kind of dabbled in different jobs. I worked, like I said, with elderly people for a while, and I did worked at Barnes and Noble, and then eventually I got this job working at an art summer camp, and it was like at a school, so we taught classes, and I could make my own curriculum. and I found out I really liked that. So I decided, took a while, but I decided eventually to go back for art education. So, and that I did that through Boston University. So,
Wow. How do you see your work evolving or changing in the future? What do you have planned?
I don't think I have anything planned.
Well, you said
But
that you were kind of trying to get into more shows.
yeah, definitely. I do want to I want to get more exposure. I'm really bad with social media. I'm I'm very old school. I just kind of like word of mouth. Um, I've done a lot of, as far as commissions for people, I've done like real estate, like house paintings in watercolor, and I've sold those before. Um, those are a little, they're fun to make, but they are, it's for somebody else. It's not really something I'm attached to. Um, but yeah, I'm trying to get, I recently had three of my pieces in the Imago Gallery. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. In Warren, they had a show for art teachers. So I had three of my pieces there, and I went for the opening night, and I didn't know they were giving prizes, and one of them ended up winning first prize. So I was happy with that, and that kind of motivated me to be like, oh, I should put my stuff out there more.
Yeah, definitely. Is making art an emotional process for you or a strategic process for you?
Well, I'm a little bit of both. Probably mostly emotional if I'm making something for myself. Um, I've definitely used art as like a way to like, grieve, I guess, for things that have happened or whatever. I've put that kind of emotion into painting. Sometimes I don't even know what I'm making when I'm starting it, but the process just helps me. So in that way, it's very emotional when and I also get attached to things. So I think that's part of the reason why I don't push to sell a lot of stuff, because it's like, oh, I made this and this is like a piece of me, and to give it away, and then you're like, okay, well now I have whatever $200, but it's just $200, and that's like something I can't ever get back. So I'm very picky about what I decide to sell or put up available. So,
Can you walk us through your creative process from idea to finished piece?
yes, but I don't really know if it's the same every time. Like, I don't have a method really. I will say that when I'm starting a painting, I might have an idea in my head, but um, it's usually very vague. I'm like, I know I want to. Well, the one I just did recently was for the Blythewold. The mansion there is having a show, and the theme is flight of the imagination. So I was like, okay, I want to do something that has to do with flying or whatever. And then I started thinking, oh, when I was a kid, when I was on the swing, I used to try to go really high so I could jump off. And so then I started painting like a girl in a swing. But usually what I do first before any painting is I just put a color down. I don't care what the color is. I just get rid of that white, and I'll just, so it's not like in your face, and I'll do like a little layering with that just to have something to start on. Yeah, and then I flip through magazines a lot to get ideas, old books, things. Sometimes I'll sit down here and I'm picking at something forever. And I'm like, it's just not working. And I have to like go upstairs and watch TV or just do something kind of mindless to get away from it. And then other times I'm down here in the zone for like hours, and he'll come downstairs and start talking to me, ask me, I'm like, get out. But
Oh my God. You kind of touched on this a little bit, but how do you combine the art you love to make and the art you sell?
like I said, I don't really sell a whole lot unless somebody, kind of reaches out. I don't have like a website place where it's up for sale. It's just people that know me, kind of word of mouth thing. Um, but yeah, I struggle sometimes with the stuff to sell, because it becomes like, it's kind of comparing to like making a project example for my fourth and fifth grade classes. Like, I'm like, okay, I just have to get this done and do this. And but there have been some commissions I've done for people actually as a gift that were a little more like I was attached to it. Like my mother wanted a painting of her house, and so that one I felt like a connection to it because it was my house that I grew up in. So, but I don't know.
Honest. So how do people find your art to purchase? And we'll put that information in the show notes.
For now, I would just my email. It's Erin Kulis Art, just all one um, at gmail.com. Yeah,
Perfect.
that's it.
Can you share a recent project or a piece of work that you're particularly happy about?
So the one behind me, which way does I turn here? The one behind me over here, this one was part of a series. This was called Memories of the Beach House. So it's not really supposed to be like anyone in particular, really. It's more just like how people remember things. I don't know, like layering of time. And I used some like old photos in here, but originally it didn't have like all these rocks. And then I just started painting them on it and I liked it. They kind of reminded me of like they were floating or something. I don't know, but I'm just happy with it. So
Yeah, it's cool.
And it was like fun to make too. So I think that I remember that too when I'm making something. It's like how it felt to make it, and that kind of adds to whether I like the finished piece or not.
I love the colors. How do you stay motivated as an artist?
Oh, that's a tough one because sometimes you're like I'll go for weeks, even months without making anything, and that's sort of why I do the visual journaling. Um, because I can always have an idea. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do a visual journal page about what just happened over the weekend. And I'll draw like the food I ate at a restaurant or something and write around it. So at least that's keeping me doing something. Um, I've tried doing those challenges where it's like a drawing a day thing, usually by like day 5. And I'm like, oh, I forgot about that thing. And I get distracted by chores and sometimes I'm down here and the cats are stepping all over my stuff. And so you're just like moving them off and just burn out from work too. I come home and I'm like, oof, just cooked. And sometimes I don't do stuff, but yeah, like breaking it up, I would say like finding a few other things to do to kind of, and sometimes I look at magazines. There's one called In Her Studio, I think it's called, and it's just inspiring. It has pictures of women artists in their studios and like what they make and stuff, and that kind of just seeing other artists too, like gets me motivated.
Oh, I can't wait to look that up. Are there any other artists or creatives who have influenced or inspired your work?
This was one of the ones I probably should have thought about a little more beforehand. Um, Well, I remember when I was in college, my professor, he was a painter as well, and he had kind of a style that I sort of loved. He did like a lot of layering and also like found objects in within the paintings and stuff. And he told me about Larry Rivers. He's pretty sure he's long gone now, but he had these paintings that kind of were the same sort of thing that just made me think of my work. And I don't know, that's one that's coming to my brain right now. But
Yeah.
Yeah, there's plenty of others. I just can't even like come up with names.
No,
But
I get it.
And sometimes I'll see something and I'm like, I don't even remember who that was, but I just know that, I was inspired by it. So, but I should start making a list.
So what advice would you give to an aspiring artist looking to pursue a career in the arts?
So I would say that just from my experience, I feel like it's okay to do other jobs to like get by and do stuff. You don't have to, it doesn't mean that like, I don't know, you're like a failure or something if you are working in something totally different. Because some people also, they do the art, they keep it separate from their job, and they have their job that's totally not related to it because that actually helps them be more creative. I wanted to have work in something where I was like doing a little bit of, even if it's not for me, like with the teaching, I'm constantly making art. And but I think I liked that I could inspire young kids, because a lot of times, especially like upper elementary age, they start to get really down on themselves and they trying to like reach perfection. And I keep trying to tell them like this is all part of it. Like you don't have to be, I wasn't perfect when I mean, for every successful piece I've made, there's probably hundreds of flops, you know? And I tell them like I keep my flops too. Probably shouldn't because eventually I'm just gonna run out of space. But so I think it's okay to like, you don't have to have it all right away. Like it's a process. And some people won't ever have a career in the arts, but that doesn't mean they can't still make art. I think everybody should just make it anyway, whether you're making money off of it or just because I think as humans, it's something that everyone should have like a connection to.
I love that. What is your favorite book, movie, song, or podcast?
All right. I'm not going to answer all of them because I'm just not going to. I love like kind of dreamy psychological books and movies. I love What Dreams May Come, even though it's really sad and come only just visually. It's beautiful. And Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. That one also very like, I don't know, like dreamy, interesting to me. My books, my husband's gonna be laughing if he hears me. He threatens to cut my library cards up because I get too many books all the time. But I'm usually between a few. Right now, I'm reading a nonfiction. It's called Braiding Sweetgrass. A lot of people recommended it to me, and it's just about like plants and how they communicate and help and how people use them. And it sounds like such a boring subject, but the way she writes it is so like poetic. So it's a really like interesting read, and it's kind of like, I don't know, calming when I read it because she's talking about nature and stuff. So I don't know. I read all kinds of things though, because the book I was reading before that was about murder. So it goes back and forth.
Is there a book, movie, song, or podcast that you recommend over and over again that's different than your favorite?
I don't really listen to podcasts. I got to get into it, but yeah, I don't know. One of my favorite books is House of Leaves. But that one's like, it's about this family that moves into a house and they notice the house starts getting bigger from the inside, and it's really weird. Like the book, there's parts of it where you have to like read it upside down, and it's crazy, but it's a cool book. I can't think of anything else, but besides what I've said.
That's good. So what would you want to talk about that I didn't ask?
Oh, I can mention my little side business. So back, I don't know, it's like 3 years ago now. Oh, wow. I was working as a teacher still, but I was only part-time. I was working 4 days a week. And I decided I just wanted to do like a little side business. And I had experience working for paint night before. It's like paint and sip. But now I do them locally. It's called Arts and Crafts RI, and it's for adults. I have done classes for children, but I prefer, it's like I've been with the kids long enough all day. So it's kind of nice because my goal is to get like adults to realize that you can just pick up and do art. Like you don't have to be skilled at it. You don't have to have a degree in it. Anybody can just go and dabble with it. And I love seeing people get like excited about like, I made this and I didn't, like at the beginning, they'll be a little nervous about it and like, oh, just don't be nervous. So um, I have done other things too within that. We started with paintings, and now I do like tie dye. We just did a crocheted scarf. It's not That's not really my thing so much, but it was still a fun workshop. And what did I do just recently? Oh, a little moss scape. It's like a round shadow box with moss. So, and then I'm always open to suggestions too. People coming up with ideas. Like if a venue wants something for like a bachelorette party or something, I'll come up with a craft. So it's been really good. I've been doing it for 3 years now, and it's fun to do and it's relaxing. I don't have to worry about it being perfect or whatever. So
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I think that's when we first met. Well, thank you so much, Erin, for letting us into your studio today. I felt inspired for sure. You definitely inspire me. And much love.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll see you next time. Yay.